Hello and welcome to Quinta dos Magros. I'm Anna, and together with my husband and our four boys, we care for a small homestead here in Portugal. Life close to the land often reminds us of ancient times, when people depended on sheep, goats, vineyards, and olive trees for their survival. In this series, we will explore the daily life of shepherds in biblical times, how they lived, what tools they used, and how they cared for their flocks. Today we begin with the story of sheep in the land of Israel and the role of the shepherd. From the days of Abraham, sheep have been at the heart of life in the Holy Land. The hills and valleys of Palestine were alive with flocks, and shepherding was more than an occupation. It was a way of survival. The Bible tells us that Job once cared for 14,000 sheep, and that King Solomon sacrificed 120,000 at the dedication of the temple. Numbers like this show how central sheep were to daily life and worship. One of the most common varieties was the fat-tailed sheep. Much like the hump of a camel, the tail stored fat and energy, making it valuable for both the animal and for people. When the sheep was butchered, the fatty tail could be sold or used for frying. Ancient texts, even in the Torah, mention this unique tail as part of offerings to God. Shepherding was often the work of the youngest boy in a family. While older brothers took on other duties, the youngest would lead the flock through the hills. This is the story of David, son of Jesse, who was tending sheep when Samuel came to anoint him as king. The shepherd's life was simple and rugged. Meals were made out of bread, dried fruit, olives, and sometimes milk from the sheep. A small clay oven might be used for cooking, or food could be brought from home. At night, the shepherd wrapped himself in his outer garment as a blanket, sleeping close to his flock. A shepherd never went out unprepared. His most important tool was the rod, a short, heavy club, symbol of strength and protection. It defended against wild animals and thieves. The Bible often speaks of the rod not only as a real tool, but also as a symbol of authority and discipline. In the other hand was the staff, a longer stick, often with a crook. This helped guide the sheep, rescue those who slipped into danger, and provided steady support during long days of walking. Together, rod and staff became the shepherd's trusted companions, just as David sang in his psalms, "Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." Another tool was the sling. With it, a shepherd could hurl stones with astonishing accuracy, to keep sheep from wandering or to drive off predators. David, the shepherd boy, used his sling not only for the flock, but famously to strike down the giant Goliath. The shepherd also carried a bag, often made of leather, in which he stored food or small stones for his sling. And sometimes he carried a simple flute. With music, he passed the long hours and perhaps even calmed his flock as they grazed in the quiet hillsides. This picture of the shepherd, rod and staff in hand, sling at the ready, flute by his side, became one of the most familiar symbols of ancient Palestine. It speaks of responsibility, protection, and devotion. Thank you for joining me for this look into life of shepherds in biblical times. In the next video, we will explore food and water for the flock and how ancient shepherds provided for their sheep in a dry land. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love if you subscribed and join us here at Quinta dos Magros, where we share stories of rural life past and present.